Thanks, Cece, and thank you all for the warm welcome. It's a great pleasure, and indeed it's an honor for me to be here tonight, not only because it's actually my first TEDx talk, but also because that's where the story started a couple of years ago. I studied here in Halle at the Martin Luther University, and I remember how I was a young student here back in 2007, and this building is truly inspirational, and I couldn't have imagined a better place to have my first TED Talk. Tonight I want to talk to you about politics, and I know I'm the last speaker, so in order to make sure that you guys are ready, I'm going to kindly ask you to please stand up. Kind of a warm-up exercise. All right, so I want to play a quick game with you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple of questions, and then if you feel like you have done these couple of things in your life before, you're going to remain standing up, and if not, then please sit down. Let's start with the first very easy question. So please remain standing if you feel like you have ever been politically active in your life. Politically active is being you going to an election and participating on a vote, or maybe you organizing, let's say, a rally, or also you reading the newspapers, or maybe also you signing a petition. So if that's the case, please remain standing. Great. Great, I like that. All right, let's go a bit deeper. Now, if you personally have, let's say, a positive opinion about politics, if you believe like politics or a political system is a system full of virtue and full of morals and ethics, please remain standing. All right, here we go. Now, if you consider yourself to be politically active, if you consider yourself to be currently politically active based on your own definition, please remain standing. Thanks a lot. And now the last question. If you are a member of a political party or of a political organization, please remain standing. Thanks a lot, our great hero. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much for participating on this brief survey. This kind of gives me a feeling on how you feel about politics or what your perception about politics might be. And I feel like your answers are quite representative for the way a lot of people perceive politics, not only here in Germany, but across the globe. Politics is perceived as, let's say, a dangerous, dishonest, and very corrupted world where politicians actually use all the means necessary to gain power, but not power for the good of the people, but rather power for themselves. Politicians are perceived to be selfish, lifted. They are kind of the people that do not care about the ordinary people on the street. That's the perception of politics that I hear a lot when I talk to people. And in preparation of this talk, I was looking for a suitable definition for politics. And I looked up in one of the most oldest dictionary of the world, the Oxford Dictionary. And to be honest, I was surprised and shocked at the same time, because there you will find politics as activities aimed at improving someone's status or increasing power within an organization. Here again, you have the reference to the word power. And power is kind of something negatively connotated in our society. And I'm sure you're all aware of the term play politics, or it's political. For example, at work, if someone gets a promotion and you don't understand how this could happen, well, you're going to say it's political. Or whenever a decision is made that you don't really understand, where you feel like this was not based on facts, then you're going to say it's political. So here we clearly see that the word politics or political is kind of negatively connoted in our society. And I was even shocked by the second definition when you see play politics. Here we say play politics means act for political or personal gain rather than from principles. Let it sink for a second. Forget everything that you know about politics just based on the words that we're seeing here. It sounds very negative to me. As I said, I was shocked. Well, not that I wasn't aware that a lot of people see politics the way it's described here, no. But I was rather surprised by the fact that these beliefs or this way of perceiving politics is cemented into one of the most oldest dictionary of the world. And you know about the power of words. You know that words actually shape our thoughts. And thoughts actually shape our actions and beliefs. And this becomes really fast our perception, and perception is reality. So I was kind of, let's say, confused. I was kind of confused, but there was something that doesn't add up until today. It's our perception about politics, the political system, and politicians versus our expectations on the political system and politics and politicians. And here we have two contradictions. The first is we as the people, and I'm going to count myself as the people. I mean, I'm running for office right now, but I still believe I'm part of the society and I'm one of you guys. So we as the people, we tend to perceive politics, let's say, as a kind of a responsibility we can fully delegate to professionals, to the politicians. We believe that our role, we as a society, it's at best accomplished if once in a while we participate in an election, as politics is something we can fully delegate. But here's something that doesn't add up, and this is for me the first contradiction. Why would you trust a system that you believe to be self-oriented, dishonored, and corrupted? Why would you trust such a system with the most important decision about your future? And although we have such a negative perception about politics and politicians, we tend to expect a lot from them. We see them as flawless, or we want them to be flawless. How? Well, on the one hand, we're being very tough on politicians. We tend to have higher standards for them compared to other professions. We expect them to be able to solve the most complex challenges in our world by making every interest group and everyone happy at the same time. So for me, this is the second contradiction. The people that we believe are selfish and kind of self-oriented and they do not care about the ordinary people, that's the same people we expect, actually, to solve things for us. So this got me thinking, right? What is then politics about? If we're saying, okay, we have a wrong perception of kind of a screwed perception of politics and politicians, what is then politics and what are politicians about? Well, for me, politicians are people like you, or like you. Just basic human beings and part of our society with strengths and weaknesses. Some of them are hardworking, some of them are lazy. Some of them are courageous and brave, others are coward. Some of them are super smart, others not so smart. And it's actually good that it's that way, because in a functioning political system, politicians are supposed to be a fair representation of the people. Why should they be different than the way we are? So if we can agree on the fact that politicians are just people like us, where does it leave us when it comes to the definition of politics? Well, for me, it's quite easy. Politics is about organizing our common life in an orderly and peaceful manner. And it actually starts at the private level. We just don't call it politics. So it starts in your family, in your flat when you're sharing a flat with some people. And when we're talking about the public life, it starts at the neighborhood, the local level, the regional level, the national level, the European level, and it goes to the global level. For me, it's all about organizing life in a peaceful and orderly manner. Now, let's consider a private situation a lot of you guys are probably aware of. Kind of goes to that example in order to illustrate what politics is about and what role we as a society and we as an individual are supposed to play. Now, imagine for one moment that you decide to live in a flat with some of your friends. And in order to make things smooth and easier, you guys would agree on certain rules and certain agreements that will make living together easier. And you also decide to distribute responsibility and activities among you guys based on, let's say, the motivation and based also on what you believe are the capabilities of the different people. So let's say person A is going to be in charge of cooking. We're going to say, because he said he's a great cook, he has so many experience in cooking, and he likes actually cooking, so he's going to be in charge of cooking. Let's say Cici as person B is going to be in charge of cleaning. She's going to be the one to make sure that the place is clean because it's very important to her. That's what she said. So she's going to take the trash out, clean the bathroom, and make sure that our place is always clean. And then the last person, maybe you said you're a great organizer, you're going to be in charge of organizing all the administrative stuff, making sure that the bills are paid on time, making sure that we buy groceries on time, and you run some errands. And let's say we agree on this separation of work, on this distribution of work for a period of 12 months. Now, after a period of 6 weeks, you realize things are not going the way they're supposed to be. Our great cook, unfortunately, is not such a great cook. You don't like his food. You really can't eat his food because it's just not delicious. And also, our friend in charge of taking care of the bills and organizing every stuff, he's not really doing his job. So it happens that we're not paying certain bills, and then the situation is getting critical. What would you do? I would say you wouldn't wait for the next 12 months until you get a chance to renegotiate and really agree on new terms. At least I hope that's not what you're going to do. You're going to immediately talk to the other people and make sure you find a new agreement and make sure you redistribute tasks so that everyone feels happy at home. And if this doesn't work out, you may even consider moving out. And that's exactly what politics is about on a private level. Organizing our common life, delegating some tasks and some power to certain people based on what they say they're good at. Now, let's think about how it works on a more public level, maybe on a national level. When you vote certain representatives for a time period, because based on their election campaign, based on the things they said they would do, and now you find out after, let's say, 1 year of the 5-year terms that they are not delivering what they say they would deliver, that they're not acting as you want them to act. Why do you just sit back and not get involved, as you would do on a private level? Some people actually do get involved, and that's what Sisi was talking about the guys in Berlin that are fighting for affordable houses. But also we have a growing, numbers of political activism in the last year. We have an emergence of so many civil society movements, starting with Friday for Futures, Black Lives Matter, Seebrücke, even Pegida, to name a couple of few organizations. And I think this is great because what they are doing, they are basically telling the politicians, we are feeling that a couple of things are not going the way they're supposed to be. So we demand you to readjust the politics in order to fulfill what we want you to do. But here's the thing. Somehow there seems to be a disconnection between civil society movements on the one side and the political system on the other side. And there are two reasons for it. On the one hand, let's be honest about it, most politicians are not very present on the street. And I'm not here to blame some politicians because of several reasons. We know they might be very busy or whatsoever, but many of them do not find their way to the street and make sure they are near to the people and understand what's going on. But on the other hand, we must also say that the political activism and the social society movements, they do not find their ways into the political system. So how could we change that? Well, we need more engagement, of course, of the political and the civil society within the political system. And I mean, whether we like it or not, our constitution, our history, does grant a great role to political parties. According to the Article 2 of the Political Parties Act, political parties play a greater role when it comes to the formulation of the will of the people. So at the end of the day, political activism on the street is very good, but if you want to transform your concrete political ideas into political decision, you need to find your way through the political parties. And I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to pretend, or I'm going to try to read through your minds. So I'm sure some of you are actually active, right? I remember when I asked you to remain standing if you consider yourself as being politically active, a couple of you guys remain there. So why are you not engaged in political parties? And I'm looking at you, and I kind of can read your mind. And I guess what we said before about the political system and about politicians, right, and about politics in general, as being a corrupted and dishonest and selfish system, this is kind of what is preventing you from becoming part of a political party, for example. And I also know for a fact that the mindset, the structure, and the culture within the political parties are not welcoming at all. I myself have been a member of a political party for more than 10 years right now. Let me be honest with you. Sometimes I'm sitting in a meeting where we are arguing over hours and hours and hours, and at the end, I don't even know what we're arguing about. It happens a lot. Just to tell you, I totally feel you, and I totally understand when you're saying the mindset and the culture of the political parties are not welcoming. I do understand. But let me be more provocative here. We talked about Fridays for Future, and let me pick Fridays for Future as an example. And I'm truly inspired by their work and what they've been doing in the last 2 years. We're talking about young people going every single Friday on the street, demanding politicians to take more action towards fighting climate change. Every Friday, in the winter, in the summer, on a very nice day, but also on a raining day. And they also manage to have clear and concrete political ideas. I kind of find it hard to believe that they're not going to be able to deal with the structure and the mentality and the mindset of the political parties. Maybe we are just here being too comfortable. Maybe we're just going to one meeting, one political meeting, and then we said, it's enough, thank you. What are other reasons why you are not politically engaged? And let me look around, and I can read your mind, and you would tell me, there's no political party that corresponds to my own beliefs, to my own political opinion. And I would say, yeah, not really. Because look at our political spectrum right now. We have all the political parties from the far right to the far left. We have a growing number of political parties, at least 40 parties in Germany right now. So I'm kind of sure everyone can find the political party which is next to your political belief. So I want to close with that. I do believe that politics was never made for us as the individual persons, but us as well as a society to delegate our power to the politicians. We need to play our role. We need to act as corrective and get involved when we feel that things are not going the right way. So I kindly invite all of you to go home and think about which role you want to play into the political system to change it for the better. Thank you very much.